Hello YouTube, greeted by my usual cough. This is I believe part 6 of the Warriorcraft Bug Out Long-Term Sustainability Kit. And I still don't have the introduction video out there in which I talk about what I think is the biggest mistake that most people don't understand when they're making their bug out kit, because most people say their bug out bag is for 72 hours. Now, if I needed to bug out for only 72 hours and I'm alone, I would carry 6 to 10 liters of water, my tent, a knife. I would prefer to have a firearm and lots of ammo and enough food for 3 days, and a fire kit. That's all I need. I forget about water pump, pills, all of that stuff. Have 6 liters of water, bottled water that has electrolytes in it already. 10 if you think you'll be working a lot. Your tent so you can sleep comfortably with your pillow and your blanket, all of that. Food, fire kit, a firearm so you can defend yourself, and lots of ammo so you don't get killed when you shoot your 2 or 3 clips. Get 10 clips. You know, so most people die in a firefight if they don't get cover, and when they run out of ammo. So that's a 72-hour kit bug out bag, in my opinion. You know, you don't need multi-tools, you don't need 6 fire kits, you don't need fishing, you don't need water pumps, purifying. You want to have a small first aid kit, like something like this, which I showed. That is a good option. I'll review my big first aid kit. But if you're building a kit, a sustainable bug out bag, you'll need a lot more than what most people have. Because 3 days, 6 liters of water is a lot better than carrying a lot of other stuff that you might not even need. You know, you don't need a cooking system, you don't need a lot of the other stuff, because you'll only be out for 3 days. You don't even need food, literally, if you have enough water. In 72 hours, if you have even a little bit of body fat, you won't lose that much. You know, water would be my priority. Water and a place to sleep, and a fire kit, and a weapon to protect myself. Everything else, I don't need a 72 hours in a 72-hour situation. You know, so all the stuff I'm carrying this is if you're permanently bugging out. And that's what my systems are for, because if I'm gonna run, like I said before, like if I'm gonna run away from my home, from this where I live currently is not my bug-in location. I would run from here to my country house, and if I need to bug out from there, then I would be on the road for a long time till I find another safe location, and that's where this system would come in, and I would have vehicles and other stuff I would need to carry all my gear. But in a 72-hour bug out bag, which I really don't have, because I would be carrying a lot more stuff to my bug out location. If I did have a 72-hour bug out bag, it would have that: 10 liters of water, a bunch of snacks so I can snack so I don't have to suffer on the road, a tent with my pillow and my comfy blankets and all of that if I need to sleep out in the cold or something, firearm to defend myself, and that's it. You know, no need for anything else, because 72 hours is really short. Now, water pumps, iodine, all of that is good in a sustainable kit, but you won't realistically need that in a 72-hour situation, because it's a lot easier to haul 6 liters of water. 1 day goes by, you'll have 4 liters of water. 2 days go by, you're down to 2 liters of water. Now, you can refill those if you need to with your water filtration system, but you only have 1 day of living out in the wilds left anyway, because your bag is planned for 72 hours. Now, if you're planning to stay for 4 weeks out there, yeah, you would need to refill your water any place you can find and filter it. So that is what I consider to be one of the biggest, because most bug out bags I've seen are either, now you do have some that are hardcore 72 hours, but they still are not, in my opinion, the perfect, because the perfect is, like I said, bunch of water, little food, shelter, fire kit, weapon. That's your bug out bag. That's your bug out gear. Everything else is extras you don't need. Most people pack something between the bug out bag and a long-term sustainable bug out system. But when you get into that bug out system, you're talking about a lot of gear, and then most people don't have enough gear. So that is the whole idea behind the long-term sustainable bug out kit. And last time I left off with the toolkit, which I'm going to get straight into. This is a self-made home sewn, as you can see. My stitching is still got a long way to go, but I make a lot of gear instead of buying it because it's cheaper. And this is resistible. I've tested this. This goes on my belt. It's got a big belt loop. I can fit my army belt in here. And it's got 2 hatchets in it. This can also be a pistol holster. It fits most 9mm and some of a little bit bigger caliber. 357s. Maybe a 40. I don't know. Maybe a 40-45 disaster. This is a hatchet I've used for a long time. As you can see, I've managed to break it in a few places. It's not sharp at all right now. It's completely dull. There is no edge in it. But it's sturdy. I've had to reinforce it with glue several times, but the shaft hasn't broken yet, and I am gonna put a cord around here and fix it. And it's good for throwing as well, so it gives you some capability of chucking it at a wild animal or an enemy. Although chucking a axe at someone who's got a gun, your chances of getting out alive are not that great. Unless you surprise, of course. Another hatchet. This one's been in use for a long time. 50-60 years. I jacked it from my best friend's father. It's a full tang, high carbon steel. This one's got a little bit of it's still a little bit sharp. I just managed to cut myself a little bit. It's a little bit rusty, but I can clean that. It's a really good, really heavy, good as a hammer as well. Much better than this one, because I don't think this is going to break anytime soon. And I have another hatchet that rides in here, which is one of those multi-tool. It's not in my toolkit because there's already a lot of stuff in there, but it's one of those multi-tool. I think this is some cheap 10-something series steel, high carbon again. You got your hammer, you got your nail puller, and you got your axe. Also different nail puller there. It's got this crappy rubber grip, and I've put some Gorilla Tape on it to secure it really good, because these have a tendency of just flying out of this rubber grip that I have on the handle. So I actually put some crazy glue and epoxy in there first, and then it Gorilla Tape, because it gives a little bit better of a grip. It's a good tool. It doesn't ride in my tool bag because it's already full, and neither do the hatchets. They usually go one on my belt. This one's also got a little belt carrying thing. This one is not that great, but this axe isn't that heavy compared to this one. This one's got at least, I don't know, a couple 100 grams on it. So yeah, this one usually rides in my ops bag, and this is the bag I carry around when I'm walking around after I make my long-term shelter, camp, or cache my gear, or whatever other option I may be using to haul my gear around or hide it, or whatever I decide to do with it. This would be the bag that I would fill with options of stuff from my big bag. And that's my cat trying to get involved in the video. And yeah, this hatchet rides in it with a bunch of other tools that I will show you now. One of these concrete, I don't know what you would call it in English. It's like a big spike. You can see it. You can use it to break rock, to open doors. it's pretty handy. I've used it a lot in urban exploring. I showed this before. I'm pretty sure. Sorry, but shovel and full iron. I mean steel dirt pick. So you don't want to break this because it's kind of crappy material. There is also that was me, not the cat. It was a lot quieter. There's also this mini crowbar with some. Actually, this grip is pretty good. It's nice. It's comfy. It's also some cheap rubber, something. But mini crowbar, a lot better than the big crowbar, and combined with this puppy, you know, because you can hammer on this. It's what it's designed for. It's for chiseling. I'm not really sure what, but it gives you that option to force your way in or force your way out of any enclosure you might find yourself in. This itself is the tool bag. Now, in the tool bag, just 1 second. Sorry, I had to fix my light. In the tool bag, the first thing you probably saw are these orange markers. Now, these serve several purposes. They're on a carabiner, they're tied with a phosphorant red shoelace, and there's more of them in there. There's a bunch of them. This can be used for you to mark your road. If you need someone to find you or to follow where you're going, you can leave these as markers. If you need to know, if you're in a new territory and explore, you know where you're going, you can leave these on your path, and then if everything else fails, you can make your way back and start again from where you started. They can be used. They're pretty good in if you ever find yourself in the sewers under the city. Where I live, there's a lot of catacombs that could be used as a bug-out route, like sewers are used in other cities. There's just all kinds of areas and places where you can use these, and for several purposes. As long as you're trying to leave a visible trail, if your current objective or plan is to not be seen, then this is not a good option. You don't want to leave markers behind. This is a standard gas mask bag for where I live. It's a shoulder strap and has a belt to go around your stomach too. So it kind of straps like that to the side of your body, and it gives you quick access to these this front open. So this pack is still not complete. There's some tools that have to be put in there, and there's some tools that are missing because it took them out to use them, because this is my everyday toolkit. And I know a lot of people ascribe to the write-off policy, which is good, except you don't really get to test all of your gear to the very edge. Now, you might say that doesn't matter because I bought the most expensive, best of the best gear there is. Sure, in 99.99% of the cases it's true, but there's always that 1 in a billion chance that that very extremely expensive, high-quality product you bought has the 1 in a billion flaw that happens even to the best product, and you don't want to find out it has that flaw when you're out in the wild or running for your life or need that particular tool desperately out in the field. You want to know that your tool is sturdy. I'm not saying go out there and destroy your tools. I'm saying go out there and test them and make sure they will take whatever you're planning to do to them. Because if your tool breaks, you're screwed. Now, especially in a SHTF situation, because the warranty is only good as long as there's a society so you can replace your item, so you might as well test your item. So, yeah, sure, my kit is not complete because of that, but I'm hoping the world won't end by after tomorrow when I get my stuff back, and my kit is ever growing, so I do have some things missing that I can add after or find along the way, but I have a lot of stuff covered. There's one of these tool belts on here. You have 3 fabric loops and another big metal loop for something heavy like a hatchet or a hammer or whatever you want to put in there. Sorry guys, still battling a little bit of a cold. knife sharpener, one of those big butcher knife sharpeners. This is really good for keeping an edge. I use it on a bunch of knives. Sharpen it first with a stone, and then I put the final edge. When it starts losing a little bit of an edge, I just use this really fast and resharpen it really good. They use it in kitchens worldwide, so it's pretty good. It's in WD-40. This has a million uses, especially when you're cutting through metal with a small hacksaw. And I don't even want to get into all you can use it for. There's a lot of other videos that explain much better than I could all the uses of WD-40. Epoxy glue in here. One spare shoelace, a laser pointer, and a spare flashlight. One AAA battery. No, two AAA batteries. Two really small screwdrivers, one Phillips head, one regular. These are tiny for electronics, just to go along with my other screwdriver set, and a Phillips small, tiny, also, I mean regular size, but really small hand-operated driver. Now, if you watch my other videos, you'll see that I already have a few multi-tools and a few multi-driver tools, so I'm pretty set up, but still I have this is one of those mean-ass, compact, double-tooth wall knives, hand saws. This will cut through wood and plaster walls like a piece of butter, and it works in trees really good. It'll cut through a tree really good if you know what you're doing. You know, with a little bit of time and patience. You know, this is a really good saw. And this is the small saw. I have a full-size saw as well in my big pack that I still haven't reviewed, but I'll get to it. One cheap, they got pretty rusty knife. It's still pretty sharp though. I need to clean it. In a plastic sheet. Nothing special. These were really cheap too. I had a bunch of these, now I think I have only one, maybe two lying around somewhere. Zip ties, a bunch of them. Once again, billion uses. This is as close as I can get to paracord to where I live. I've shown this before. This is, I think, 10 or 15 meters of it. It's pretty strong. It'll hold 100, maybe 200 pounds tested. It's handy to have. Then some regular nylon cord. It's good also for milling uses. Not really strong, not really great, but still serves a purpose. I use a lot of cord, so it comes in handy. This is my multi-driver tool that I was telling you. Please ignore the cat. She's just going crazy with the cord. You know how those felines are. So you can see it's got, I'm sorry with the camera, it's got 4 Phillips head drivers and then the same size 4 flatheads. Out of my camera, cat. Yeah, that's not gonna work. So we're gonna remove the kitty. She's very unhappy she was removed from the picture. Another driver. This one's some not expensive but pretty tough steel driver. Needle nose pliers. A little towelette and some more cord, string, nylon cord. Electric tape that you want to carry like this, squashed instead of how it was, the round way. And all you want to do is just take a piece of the electric tape and just tape it down. And with that, I've showed that before. I carry all my tape mostly like that. Another one of those tiny drivers, good for electronics, and that should be in here, not flying out there. So I'm just gonna put it back where it belongs. And this is I don't know what this case is from some camera or something like that. Then we have a 100% natural old school cord. There's like 300 meters here. It's pretty tough. It's for making shelter, making clotheslines. You can braid it to make it stronger. You can use it to repair stuff. It's also got a billion purposes. Like I said, you can never have enough cord, especially in a long-term, sustainable kit where you're planning to make your kitchen, your water gathering place. Usually some water mill that just picks up water as the river flows and then pours it into huge like water bucket that you would have for horses, where you can have your water, have a water processing place where you've got your fish and your animals. So you don't have to go really far away from your camp, but do it in the river, then wash everything off. You attract wild animals. You know, build a kitchen, build one tent, build a second tent for your gear. There's just, if you want to live comfortably, there's no reason you wouldn't have all of these rooms. You know, well, different tents now, because you're out in the wild, you can create all of this. Be creative, people. Dedicated, very sharp wire cutters. These are the ones that I talked about. And I do believe I used the wire snips expression for them. I don't know where I heard that. It's stuck in my mind, and I must have said it subconsciously. Yeah, but these are really strong. This will cut really thick wire. They're not as strong as I would want them to be. You're not going to cut any big padlocks with this. But, yeah, you will cut some. This is the multi-tool that I showed a few times. But I'll show it one more time really fast. Pliers with wire cutters. Phillips head screwdriver right there. Having difficulties pulling it out. I just cut my nails today, so they're really short. Big blade. Scissors. Serrated. Big blade scissors, serrated edge with a flat top driver, flat head, and double tooth small saw, which actually works pretty good. This is a no-name, also Chinese multi-tool. It's worked pretty good for me. I have 3 or 4 of them. I can't get Gerbers here, and plus I'm building this whole kit on a very low budget because I don't feel that I should spend that much money on it, because I'm living on a limited budget and doing a lot of other stuff on a limited budget. I don't want to spend all my stuff on my because I use this as camping gear as well. Like I say, I test all my gear and I do urban exploring and other stuff like that, so I know how good or bad pieces of my gear are. This is a box filled with nails, screws, and all kinds of other stuff that I can use. Everything's in little baggies. So, first off, let me change positions here. First off, a bunch of nails. Steel, some kind, not very good. More bigger steel nails. Now this is to really secure. You're making you know, you have a few tarps and you find a few logs, and with a few of these bad boys, you can make yourself pretty sturdy shelters. Now these are some really, really, really strong steel. This is if you run into some of that really, really freaking hardwood. This bad boy will go through anything. It'll go through cinder blocks. It'll go to concrete, through concrete. These are really expensive. I don't know what steel it is. I think it's D2. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. I could be wrong, but it's some really freaking hard steel. And it's two more of these small drivers that are also out of place. Because like I said, I use my kit, and when I use it, things get misplaced. Because I don't always back up very neatly. And yeah, then there's a bunch of these that are used to hold cables in place. You got a little plastic thing there that'll hold your cable, or a branch, and then this you nail into wood. These are really handy in making camps. Saves you in a lot of cord. You can build really strong walls out of thin stuff, especially in a long-term camp. Some screw into wood screws. You can screw pieces of wood with this, again, for making a long-term camp. And a few more of these nails, and two more A3 batteries, which I'm gonna move as well into here. So now I have in here 4 A3 batteries, which are backup for all my batteries that I have in my bug out survival belt. If those run out, I know I have a few in here. A whole kit of small screwdrivers and this driver, and I have those multi-tools with driver, and I have the driver multi-tool. So I'm pretty covered with drivers, I'm pretty covered with hammers, with axes, with the digging tools, with the shelter building capability. I have for sin, for south equipment. I have the things that are missing. My hacksaws got used up because I was cutting metal and then reforging it into knives and throwing stars. Just experimenting of how much I can do. What else is missing? There's a big tool, another tool with the those also drive to remove bolts that don't have driver slits in it. I don't know what the tool is, like a wrench, but a multi-wrench. It has all sizes of screws on it. It's a little bag that's also not in here. And other than that, I think, other than my hacksaws and the driver, bolt remover tool, that's pretty much everything that's in my toolkit. And I will be reviewing my small kit and my food kits next. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you